Ryan Balch saying something like telling the people to stop pointing their lasers at people or something.
What's going on, boys?
I don't really remember that.
Ryan Balch was telling the people in your group to stop doing that.
The people on the roof
Who were part of your group, right?
that were there, yes.
So, you know, when we're talking about laser pointers, we're talking about the sight at the end of some guns that helps, almost like this, right? If somebody does this at me, you know, that could be someone pointing a gun, correct?
It could be seen as that.
And that's what the crowd was complaining about, right?
Yeah.
So you knew from that crowd incident, and you certainly knew from this incident, that when people have guns pointed at them, it can really escalate the situation, correct?
He should be able to have his weapon, though.
I don't think anybody had lasers on their guns. I think...
Yeah, but let's go back to your group at 59th Street, because you actually didn't know any of those people other than Dominic and Nick Smith, right?
Yes.
You had just met Ryan Balch for the first time 3 or 4 hours before this video, right?
That's better.
Yeah.
You had just met Jason Lakowski for the first time, just actually only a few minutes before this, right? Because he didn't get in until 10:45.
Correct.
So at this point in the video, I don't know, this is probably about 11:30 or so at night.
I met him about 35 minutes prior to that.
And probably had only spent, what, 10, 15 minutes at all in the same location as Jason Lakowski before you walk south?
Yes.
So, again, Jason Lakowski was someone you'd never met before that night.
Correct.
And you barely spent any time with him that night, correct?
Correct.
And of course, the people up on the roof, other than Dominic Black and Nick Smith, you didn't know any of them before that night either, correct?
I knew Dominic Black and Nick Smith, but the people on...
I misspoke their names.
Sorry.
Dominic Black and Nick Smith.
I knew those are the two people I knew on the roof.
Other than that, you didn't know anyone else before this night. Fair?
Correct.
Now, when this little interaction that we've just watched happens, you're still walking with Ryan Balch, aren't you?
I'm not. I thought I was at the time, but seeing hindsight view, I'm not.
When you decided to cross 60th with Ryan Balch, you two talked about the fact that if you get separated, to go back to the 59th Street car source, right?
I don't recall that conversation happening.
But you tried to do that, didn't you?
I did.
Because you felt like if I'm out here by myself, that's not good. I need to head back, right?
Yes.
And you also talked to Ryan Balch about the fact that when you get out into this crowd, keep your mouth shut. Don't antagonize them. Didn't Ryan talk to you about that?
No, we didn't talk about that.
So at this very moment, you're telling us you've lost track of Ryan Balch.
A little bit ahead, but around that time, yes.
Let's continue the video.
Well, yesterday or today?
Pause. You have just walked off the screen, heading east across Sheridan Road to the Ultimate Gas Station, correct?
Yes.
And at that point in time, you don't know where Ryan Balch is, correct?
When I stop and look around, yes.
And instead of deciding to head back at this point, you go over to Ultimate Gas and you talk to some folks over there.
Oops.
Fair?
I walk over to the Ultimate Gas Station, I walk around, and I try to see if I can find Mr. Balch.
And you couldn't do that?
No.
So then you decided to approach the
Why is that
police
so
line
blurry?
across
Ew.
back, correct?
Yes.
Because you decided your best course of action at that point would be to return
Hang on one
to the
second.
same group that you'd been with, correct?
Yes.
Now,
Try to get a thumbnail, homie.
at that moment in time, the police had pushed everybody south of 60th, right?
Sorta. I don't really know if there were...
In,
You say south to 60th?
I said south of 60th. Let's go back a little bit. We watched that interview with Richie McGinnis where he first comes up to you and talks to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you're standing there at the 59th Street property, aren't you?
I am.
And he talks to you about what you're going to do, and you're going to run out and help people, things like that, right?
Yes.
At that point, the police had already past with all the Bearcats and MRAPs and armored vehicles, right?
It's what it looks like, yes.
And they had established a line on 60th and Sheridan, correct?
Yes.
And they pushed all of the protesters, demonstrators, rioters, whatever you want to call them, all of them south of 60th, correct?
I don't know if I can honestly answer all of them. I don't know. I believe there are some people still north down Sheridan and in the across the street.
So were there, I mean, we saw a crowd earlier of lots of protesters out in the street. That group, the numbers had dwindled quite a bit.
The
Yes.
flip.
Okay. So after the police move everybody south of 60th, there's no more actual threat to the 59th Street car source, is there?
I don't know.
Well, at that moment in time, what imminent threats did you see to the 59th Street car source property?
I don't know.
Do you remember seeing any protesters out in the street in front of the 59th Street car source after the police pushed everybody south of 60th?
I believe there were some across the street, but not many. I can't recall completely.
And that was just 2 or 3 people, right?
I don't know how many people.
None of those people came across the street to the 59th Street car source, did they?
I don't know. If they did, I would have walked off by now.
So you didn't see them come across the street.
I did not.
Fair to say that after the police pushed everybody south of 60th, you never saw any people threatening that property, correct?
I didn't see anybody.
And your goal that night, you took it upon yourself to protect the 59th Street property, correct?
The owners asked.
Sure. But you were going to station yourself at that property to try and protect it from damage. Fair?
The car source locations, yes.
And once the police had pushed everybody south of that, there was no more danger.
At that car source location, yes.
Okay. So why not go home at that point?
Because the police were still pushing people back, and then they were backing up, and I was still helping people provide medical first aid.
Okay, so the police had established the line at 60th with their Bearcats at that point, right?
Yes.
And there was no indication that they were going to reverse and back up and move back north again that you saw, correct?
No, they did it earlier in the night.
Thank
when
you.
They did the same thing.
Thank you, MMA.
Right. But this is at 11:30, 11:40 at night, and they've established that, the police have established that line, and as far as you can tell, it's going to stay there, right?
I don't know.
And you talked about trying to provide medical help, but there's no one around that needs medical help at the 59th Street car source at that point, is there?
Not that I noticed.
So you don't have any purpose there anymore, do you?
Other than
So why not go home?
because I was gonna help people provide first aid and medical assistance.
But that wasn't the reason you were there that night. You were there that night to protect the 59th Street car source.
It was one of the reasons I was there. Part of my reasons of being there was to protect the car source properties and provide first aid and medical assistance.
So you went out in the crowd, like we see in this video, looking for anyone who needed your help.
If somebody if somebody said they need help, I would have helped them.
So why go with Ryan Balch?
Because you're safer and better in pairs when there's somebody else that's also with you.
So when you crossed 60th, you were worried about your safety.
A little bit.
Even though you think this is not a hostile crowd and you're there to help them, you were still worried about your safety. That's why you needed Balch to back you up, right?
This guy's
I
reaching.
said I didn't think they were hostile towards me. I didn't say that they weren't a hostile crowd.
So let me rephrase my question. That's to take that into account. You didn't think this was a crowd that was hostile to you personally, and you thought you were going to help them, but yet you also felt You needed a backup, an armed former Army infantryman to protect you. Fair?
Yes.
And yet when he's gone and you can't find him, you don't immediately go back, right?
I look for him for a second, and then I think max I look for him for like 3 minutes, and then I try to go back.
And when you couldn't get back straight across the police lines, did you decide
Interesting.
to try and go around the police lines? For example, the Ultimate gas station is here at 60th and Sheridan. Why didn't you walk down the street here and go over this way and around?
I don't know.
Why didn't you go west over this way and go around?
I don't know. I guess it was very close in time that I was heading back. That I was turned down by the police before I got the phone call from Dominic Black. So I guess I didn't have time to really think like which ways I can go around.
You knew the layout of downtown Kenosha, right? Because you said you drove that area the whole time, right?
A little bit.
So you go over to the Ultimate gas station and you spend some time talking with folks that are there who are similarly dressed as you. They've got similar clothing, similar weapon, things like that, right?
Similar weapons. I wouldn't say similarly dressed.
But you went over there because you felt that those were people doing something similar to what you were doing that night. Fair?
I thought that would be the safest spot for me to go.
Why did you think you'd be safe with those people?
Because I was alone, and they were, like I said, you're better in pairs, and I didn't want to be alone in that situation.
You didn't want to be alone out here with this crowd that we see on the screen right now.
I
Right?
did not want to be alone with them.
You wanted to be with the group at Ultimate Gas that had AR-15s like you, right?
I wanted to be back at the car source where there weren't people around
Right, and we've talked about that, but initially you go to Ultimate Gas
to
and-
look for Ryan. Yes,
but you also talk to people who have AR-15s just like you, right?
I wouldn't say I talked to them. I asked after the phone call. I asked the guy for a fire extinguisher and to come with me.
Let's play exhibit number 11 at the 54-minute and 30-second mark. This is the Corey Elijah live stream when he's in the Ultimate Gas lot. Mr. Rittenhouse, that's Ryan Balch
Yes.
standing there in the Ultimate Gas lot, correct?
Yes.
Let's play this video.
There's fireworks and look down there.
Pause. We just saw you run through this video, correct?
Yes.
I started this video at the 54-minute and 30-second mark. It is now paused at the 54-minute and 56-second mark. So for 26 seconds, Corey Elijah has Ryan Balch on screen, center of this video during that entire time, right?
Yes.
And you run right past where Corey Elijah is standing, right?
Yes.
And Ryan Balch is loitering there in the middle of the screen for at least 26 seconds, right?
That's what it looks like on the screen.
And your testimony is you were trying your best to find Ryan Balch at the Ultimate gas station at this point? Because you needed him to protect you?
I was looking for Ryan Balch, but I didn't notice him as I was running away, running towards car source 3.
But for 26 seconds before you start running, he's standing right there, isn't he?
Yes, and when he's standing right there, before I run with the fire extinguisher, I'm over here on the phone with Dominic Black.
How long was your phone call with Dominic Black?
About 30 seconds.
Okay, so before that, you'd been looking for Ryan Balch?
Before that, I tried to get back to the car source lot number 1.
And you'd also been looking for Ryan Balch?
Seeing if I could see him in the crowd of people.
Because you wanted a partner, a buddy, to protect you?
To protect each other, yes.
And in fact, when you borrowed that fire extinguisher, you asked someone in that group to come along with you, right?
Yes.
Because you wanted someone there to protect you when you go down and put out what you think are some fires, right?
Yes.
Because you know that you're running into a crowd that is not friendly to you, right?
No.
That's why you had to say the word friendly, 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 because you knew this was a crowd that would not see you as friendly, correct?
I screamed friendly, friendly, friendly because somebody screamed burn inside.
I'm talking about when you crossed 60th. You yelled it then.
At that time, yes, but...
And no one in the crowd is yelling burn inside or anything along those lines, are they?
Not at that time.
And you also wanted someone from that group to come along with you when you're going to go down and put out a fire, because you knew full well that anyone running around like you putting fires out is going to cause a reaction.
Wait, what?
In the crowd. A hostile reaction. Correct?
I didn't think it would cause a negative reaction. I wanted somebody to...
Wait, why does this SJW want fires going
I
down?
thought there were other people at that car source before I got there.
Well, Dominic, if you're telling us that Dominic Black called you to run 3 blocks down the road to put out a fire at the 63rd Street car source, then you must have known at that moment that there wasn't anyone else down there, right? Why would you need to go if somebody's already down there?
Mr. Black said to me on the phone, hey, they're setting fires at the other car source. I need you to get down there and put out the fires. It must not have... I don't think it... I took it as there's not other people down there.
Why would you need to go 3 blocks down if there were already people there?
To help.
He's asking you a question that this witness doesn't know the answer, whether there are people there or not.
He's told us he thought there were, so I'm probing the basis of that and his understanding at the time.
You can answer if you understand the question.
I'll repeat the question. Why would you need to run 3 blocks down to the 63rd car source if you thought there were already people there?
I thought there were people there, but Dominic asked me to go down there. I thought that was to help put out the fires that were down there.
This video that we're watching is minutes after you've left the 59th Street car source, right?
Yes.
And when you leave the 59th Street car source, you're with Ryan Balch.
Yes.
And then this reporter, Richie McGinnis.
Yes.
And as far as you know, when you leave 59th Street car source, everybody in your group is still back there, right?
At the car source.
At 59th Street car
Yes.
source. Everybody's still back there.
Yes.
Joanne Fiedler.
Yes.
Dustin Collette. Dominic Black. Nick Smith. Jason Lakowski. Anyone else. They're all still there, right?
At that location, yes.
So none of your group is already down at 63rd Street car source, right?
The other group that showed up after we got done taking the pictures with the, I think I said 2 or 3 vans, I believed they were still down there.
And that was 2 or 3 vans of people that came out with what have been described as melee weapons, right? Like bats and clubs and things like that. Do you recall that? First of all, do you recall that testimony?
I do.
Do you remember seeing those 2 or 3 vans come to that location?
I do.
Do you remember seeing people get out of those vans?
Yes, like I saw, I think there were 6 people. They, in total.
And you saw them with weapons.
I saw them with rifles. I don't think I remember melee weapons.
They were armed. Correct?
Yes.
And you believed that they were going to be the ones protecting the 63rd Street car source, correct?
Yes.
So at this point in time in the evening, had anybody told you that those folks had left the 63rd Street car source?
No.
So when you're running with this fire extinguisher, you think there's already a group that's designated to that spot that's still down there, right?
Yes.
So again, why do you feel that you needed to run 3 blocks down there with a fire extinguisher if you thought there were already people down there protecting that property?
Because Dominic called me and asked me to go help put out the fires down there.
And in that phone call, Dominic never told you that any of the members of the 59th Street group that you were part of, he never said any of them were down there at 63rd, right?
Yes.
And he never told you that the group that was supposed to be down there, he never told you anything about them, whether they were there or not there. He never mentioned them. Fair?
It didn't come up.
And you asked the people that you got the fire extinguisher from to come with you, right?
Yes.
You were looking for Ryan Balch for backup, right?
I was looking around for him, yes.
You had already tried to go back to the 59th Street location, right?
Yes.
And all of those failed.
Yes.
So then you decide to take it upon yourself to head down to 63rd Street to put out fires. Fair?
I wouldn't say that. I would say I went to go put out the fires that I was there to do. When I say protect the property, I mean by like put out fires. So I went to go put out the fires. I just believed there were people there.
And you brought your AR-15 along.
Yes.
Why?
Because it was with me already.
Yeah, but you'd taken it off earlier when you were treating someone. You gave it to Joanne Fiedler, right?
Yes.
So you know how to take it off, don't you?
Yes.
And you can make a choice on your own whether or not to go armed with it or whether to give it to the person who is the lawful owner of it on that date, Dominic Black. Correct?
I didn't take my rifle off there because there was nobody I could hand it to. And when I took it off to hand it to Joanne Fiedler, I was in a safe spot in the corner of the building where there were people protecting me at that time right there. When I went to go to the car source number 3 to put out the fires, there was nobody I could hand my rifle to that could protect me while I'm providing first aid to somebody.
But you still knew you had it.
My rifle, yes.
You still knew you had it strapped around your body.
Yes.
And you made a conscious decision to bring it along, right?
Yes.
Why?
That's the answer.
He gave an answer about how he already had it, and we
Go ahead.
go through on that. So,
You know, did you hear the question?
I did, but I don't really understand what...
well, was it simply that, well, I've already got it strapped on, so I might as well bring it along? Is that what you're telling us? You decided to bring along the AR-15 because, well, I've already got it? Is that your answer?
I don't think I was thinking to like, hey, I'm going to take my rifle off. I wouldn't have because there was people around that could have stolen my gun, and I didn't. I didn't take my rifle off because I was going there alone. I was going to be running there alone, and I didn't
What?
take it off because no one else was there to protect me as I was going there, so that's why I brought it.
For protection.
Yes.
You brought it along down there because you felt like you would need to protect yourself against someone else harming you. Correct?
If that would have happened, I would have protected myself, but I didn't think I was going to be attacked and ambushed.
But you just said you had it for protection. What were you expecting you would need protection from?
Why is he reaching?
I thought we had covered much of this before.
You never know what you're gonna.
Focusing in on the time period where he is heading down to the 63rd Street car source. I have not asked him about this yet, Your Honor.
Well, go ahead, but you need to pick up the pace somewhat.
Judge ain't having it.
When you decided to bring your AR-15 loaded with 30 rounds down to the 63rd Street car source location, what did you think you needed protection against?
I didn't really think I was going to have to protect myself.
You told us just now you brought it along for protection.
I did, but I didn't think I was going to need to protect myself.
You brought it along for protection, but you didn't think you needed protection? I'm trying to clarify the two different answers that I think he just gave, Your Honor.
Well, go ahead.
Do you understand the question?
Not really.
I asked you why you brought the gun. You said you needed it for protection. I said, protection against what? You said you didn't think you needed protection. I'm confused. Can you help me understand why you're telling us you needed a gun for protection, but you didn't think you needed protection?
I bought the gun for my protection, but what I was saying is I didn't think I would have to use the gun and end up defending myself.
So you, in this video, are running.
Yes.
You run across the screen. Yes?
Yes.
And then I think you testified on direct that as you made it down the block, I don't remember exactly how you phrased it, but you stopped running and you walked for a little while. Is that right?
I jogged and walked occasionally.
Carrying a fire extinguisher and your gun.
Yes.
And you're alone at that point with no backup, right?
Yes.
And you testified that when you got down to the 63rd Street car source, you indicated that you came upon that vehicle we've been calling the Duramax. You know what vehicle I'm talking about?
I do.
And you indicated that when you got there, you walked around that vehicle and you saw a person that you now know to be Joshua Zeminski. Is that right?
I walked up to the Duramax. Yes.
You didn't know Joshua Zeminski's name at that point, correct?
No.
You hadn't taken any notice of him at all up until that moment, all night long. Fair?
Fair.
This is the first time that you see that this is a person that comes to your attention. Fair?
Yes.
And you said he had a gun in his hand.
Yes.
And you put the fire extinguisher down on the ground.
I dropped the fire extinguisher.
And then you hear or see Mr. Rosenbaum coming from behind you.
When I get to the Duramax, I step forward, and then Mr. Zeminski turns towards me, and he steps towards me. I drop the fire extinguisher, step back, and that's when I see, I go to run back towards 59th Street.
And Mr. Rosenbaum is coming.
Don't interrupt.
And then that's when I notice Mr. Rosenbaum running at me, leaving me with no other, right? Mr. Zeminski in front of me with the gun, Mrs. Zeminski right there, a couple feet away, and then some other people there.
And then the chase happens. Is that
Yes.
fair to say?
Yes.
Have you told us everything that you did when that situation just happened at the Duramax?
Yes.
Can we play the iPad, please? The iPad with the drone video. This is exhibit number 73. I don't know what are you guys going to do? Mr. Rittenhouse, this is a video that has been admitted into evidence as exhibit number 73. This is a video taken by a drone that was hovering south of 63rd at the time that you shot Mr. Rosenbaum. We're going to play the beginning of this video on the iPad, and I'm going to have Detective Howard use the pinch and zoom feature on the iPad to zoom in on the area.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this, and I'd like to be heard outside the presence of the jury.
What do you think? Perfect time for a break, don't you think? Let's take a break. Please don't talk about the case during the break. Read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial.
They're about to take a break. They were going to show a clip from a drone that was hovering above when Kyle shot off his firearm. So they're going to take a break right now. Quick break, it seems.
What's up?
Your Honor,
What, excuse me, what? I think they went upstairs, though. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I don't know what the state's going to do next, but I suspect that it's something along the lines of they're going to use the iPad, and Mr. Binger was talking about pinching the screen. iPads, which are made by Apple, have artificial intelligence in them that allow things to be viewed through 3 dimensions and logarithms. Logarithms, I don't understand at all either. And it uses artificial intelligence or their logarithms to create what they believe is happening. So this isn't actually enhanced video. This is Apple's iPad programming creating what it thinks is there, not what necessarily is there.
Wait, what?
And I don't know what's going to happen, but we had this video enhanced. We have testimony regarding it, and this is one of the topics that came up. I asked my expert. I said, do you know of anything that does something like that? Because that was when Detective Antaranian testified about pinching his telephone. And that's what I was told. And that's what I think this is going. And I don't think that it's appropriate. It's wrong.
Mr. Binger?
Your Honor, I think everybody in this room has a smartphone, whether it's an Apple iPhone or some other device. And I think we've all taken a photograph or a video at one point or another and used the pinch to zoom in feature. This is a common part of everyone's everyday life. In the olden days, you had a photograph and a magnifying glass, right? That doesn't change the photograph. When you use a magnifying glass to look at words on a paper or a photograph, the magnifying glass doesn't change the image. It doesn't change the pixels on the paper. It doesn't change the words in the book. All it does is make them easier to see. The pinch and zoom feature on the iPad or the iPhone or an Android phone, whatever device everyone in this room has, does that exact same thing. Now, if counsel has an expert who will say that this is unreliable or distorting the image or something along those lines, even though this is something everybody in this room has done with countless videos and photos throughout the last 10 years of our lives here, this is a fact. This is a feature of everyday life in America now with smartphones. If they want to have an expert come in and say it's unreliable and you can't believe what's on that screen, they can do that. We're still in their case. And then the jury can make a decision as to whether or not pinching and zooming on an iPad or an iPhone is tampering with the video,
Wait,
or
what?
altering the image, or unreliable, or shouldn't be given any weight. So if they want to make a jury question out of this, they are free to do so. We're still in their case in chief. But I don't, frankly, understand or agree with anything counsel just said. I've used my phone, I think probably you have too. I think this is something within everyone's common knowledge, to pinch and zoom on a screen. And that's what's going on here. It does not change the image in any way. It just makes it like a magnifying glass.
Well, I don't know. When I put the magnifying glass up, then it's enlarging the image. It is not altering the image. What he's saying, and I think, and I know less than anyone in the room here, I'm sure, about all this stuff, but I'm hearing him to say that they're actually artificially inserting pixels into there, which is altering the object which is being portrayed.
Interesting.
And so, you know what, I myself, when confronted with these changes in technology, what I usually do is to admit the evidence, but make sure that the finder of fact is aware of the fact that it is not the original image and the method by which it's been enhanced. You're suggesting that I should make the defense bring in an expert for it. My thought would be that actually you're the one who's offering the exhibit, so you should be in a position to offer evidence as to the fact that it is not distorting the object which is depicted.
I would submit, Your Honor, that I think it's common sense to everyone in this room that that's not what's going on here. And what counsel is saying about Apple software and logarithms and things like that is not something that people in this room are familiar with.
I thought I heard the expert say on the stand, and believe me, again, this is not something I'm familiar with, but I thought I heard the expert say that you brought down from the crime lab that in fact that there were alterations made by adding pixels. That's an alteration of the image. So I don't have any problem with it being received, but you're going to have someone testify that it's a reliable, I don't want to say mirror image, but because obviously if you insert more items into an area of space, it's going to distort what's depicted.
I think, Your Honor, when the pinch and zoom maneuver is used on a screen, it actually, it takes the high resolution that we see here and it brings it into the point where the pixels are actually spread out more.
You know what? I'm not going to accept as accurate what Richards is saying, and I'm not going to accept what you're telling me. I said if you can offer somebody who's knowledgeable in these areas, the document or the I think you should be allowed to use the image, but this is high risk. To me, if you insert more data into an area of space, well, you're wagging your head no. Tell me where I'm wrong.
There's no proof in this record that we're doing that, Your Honor.
I didn't say there was proof of it. I said you have the burden of proof. You're the proponent of the exhibit, and you need to tell me that it's reliable.
Boomer logic.
That I know.
The enhanced exhibit is not in evidence.
This is not enhancing.
Well, then why show it?
I
I mean, the reason you want to show it is because it enhances the image, right? No, one at a time.
I'll say what Mr. Krause was just saying. The defense has taken videos and photos and cropped them, zoomed in on them on many exhibits in this trial. And this is, again, like I said, the magnifying glass is not changing the image. What the expert testified to about his software program was that he uses, I think he called it AmFAR5 or something like that. It was a software program he was using to create the additional images or the exhibits that were introduced with regard to this drone video. And he talked about what that software program does. He was not talking about the common, ordinary, everyday pinch and zoom feature on the Apple. They're two different things, Your Honor, and I want to be precise about this because I don't think it's fair to equate the technical video editing software used by the crime lab with pinching and zooming on an iPhone. They're different software programs, different procedures, and I don't think it's fair to extrapolate this. Every one of those jurors is familiar with this process. This is a fundamental part of our lives nowadays. It's much like 100 years ago people used magnifying.
If the pixels don't quit, you must equate.
And I think this is common knowledge, and I don't think I need any sort of expertise on this issue. If the defense wants to quibble with it, they have an expert who can offer testimony. But the exhibit's already in evidence. It would be no different than me putting off a photograph of it and then holding up an enlargement. I mean, we had a guy coming yesterday with Walgreens prints. I mean, this is what is done with photographs all the time. There's enlargements done in the lab. It doesn't change the pixels.
No. You know, I don't want to hear about what happened earlier in the trial that came in without objection. If you didn't object, then I didn't address it. Now, I'm not going to police this case, so everybody, anytime somebody wants to put some evidence in, I'm going to say, well, wait a minute, what about that? What about that? I have to have an objection. I get an objection, and then I rule on it. There has been no objection during this trial when either side has exploded an image or anything like that. If you'd have brought in an objection, if he'd have brought in an objection, I would have ruled on it. But to say now, well, this has already been done during the trial. I've got an objection in front of me now. He's suggesting that the amplifying the image is altering what is portrayed, the image which is portrayed, and you're giving me as a defense, it's no different from using a magnifying glass. I don't believe that, because if I take, the image is the same, and all it is doing is improving my poor.
Oh my gosh!
Here you've got someone to correct me if I'm wrong. I do believe the expert testified that he had inserted, or either him or the device inserted additional pixels into the image. That
different program, Your Honor.
Well, I don't know what kind of a program. I don't care what kind of a program it is. The question is the image in its virginal state?
I care about what program it is, Your Honor, because these are technical issues. Mr. Richards has just made representations with no basis whatsoever.
Can you slow down?
Absolutely.
Stand it over.
Mr. Richards has just made technical representations with no basis in this record whatsoever. He is questioning a common part of life that we use, everyone uses, every single day. The expert who testified was talking about a different software program, and it does make a difference.
I don't know.
Well, then if it's going to be an issue, let's
you're
make
the
an issue out of
proponent.
it.
I said before, I'm not going to talk about it further. You're the proponent, and you need to assure me before I let the jury speculate on it, that it is a reliable method that does not distort what is depicted.
So
Okay, so we're going to take a break.
I understood you correctly. We can play it now, and then we'll tie it up later.
I don't think that's what I said.
That's what I thought you said, so that's why I'm asking.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I did. If I said that, shame on me. I said that we're going to take a break right now. And I said, before I'm going to allow this to be amplified in the way that you want, it is going to have to be demonstrated to me that it's a reliable way to do it.
Then we would request an adjournment to do that now.
Well, we're not going to adjourn the case now to do that.
Well, before I am done with my cross-examination of this witness, I would like to use this video, and I will need some time to make arrangements for what you're asking. So I would ask that before I am, I would like time to do that before I'm done cross-examining this witness, because this is an important exhibit that I intend to use with
Well,
this
it
witness.
depends. Why don't you get on it right away, and maybe you can get somebody to testify on this within minutes. I don't know. So we'll take a break.
What
Let's.
operating system are they using on the iPad?
We can answer that question.
Do you know?
Not off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Well,
iPad, Mark.
okay. Let's aim for 3:20 on that clock, which is. Yeah, let's aim for 3:20.
What the flip? So they're gonna have a break until 3:20. It seems. That's wild, dude. That is wild. Like the whole thing. Wait, what? I mean, what? It's only a 15-minute break. Oh yeah, because it's a different time over there. Bruh. I think this is going to be a very interesting one. I think this one's going to be very interesting. Wait, what the flip? I'm down to do some daily stock updates. If you want to go and see what's going on with the market, because the market closed about 7 minutes ago. Let's go. We're in after hours. Hold on. No wait, it's closing in 1 hour. What am I talking about? Market closes in 1 hour. Damn, bro. This put actually helped me out. No, wait, we're in after hours. No, we're in after hours. 7 minutes ago. It's daylight savings time. Jim screwed up. We're in daylight savings time. Daylight savings. Yeah, the market's closed, bro. Daylight savings has me messed up, dude. Daylight savings has me really screwed up. Wow. I forgot for like a complete second. I'm like, oh my gosh. This is daylight savings. Dude, this is actually not bad. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait on this. Peloton is I don't see it doing anything. I don't see it doing anything, dude. I think Peloton is gonna crash. I think it's gonna continue to crash hard. I mean, I did a $46 put onto Peloton because I don't know. I just saw it going down to how much? I didn't put that much. I only have a few contracts. I don't have a lot of contracts. And then I went and I guess the other contracts that I put didn't file. That was weird. I actually did some on Apple. For some reason, they just didn't go through. I guess nobody was doing that type of call. I just see Apple going very up, all the way up. I'm trying to find a good price too. Let's see, September. It could be that high. It could be. I'm trying to find just. Let's see what they do next year. I don't know. Let's look at. Wow, Beyond Meat is actually crashing. Here, let's do, while we're waiting for this case to come back. Holy crap, dude, that's actually awful. What the heck's going on? I mean, it's not really crashing. It's just, that's like a small dip. That's not really a crash. That's someone selling. Because the volume went from 1 million to 148. No, that's a dip. That's just a dip. That's crazy. It went up to 196 and then it's at 94. Oh, okay. Pandemic. Damn, could have caught this for hella cheap. Could have made a little bit of money off that. A little bit. No, this is Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat. I don't think Impossible. Wait, is Impossible, bro? Are they public? Impossible Foods. No, they're still a private company. They're still private. What did I say? Gold is up. Ayo. Bro, I can't look up the price of silver. What the flip? Alright. Gold is actually kind of down if you actually... I mean... Yeah. But verse right here... Verse right here, that's a decline. That looks like a slow decline. Hey, look. It is going to go up. It's going to go down. Bitcoin is at... Oh, down. Bitcoin is down 1.66%. It's currently trading at $65,894. It's not too bad. NASDAQ... 143 currently after hours. It's not too bad. Wow, it's losing some points. We're down 234, 236 points. NASDAQ is going wild right now. S&P 500 is down 70%. Down 32 points. Nearly. Just it's teetering between 32 and 33. There we go. We just hit 33. Down 30. Down 0.59%. A whopping 212 points. It is a down day for the market. Oil, anybody interested in oil, down 3.41%. We're talking $81.28 a barrel. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, dude. That means it's getting cheaper, but actually it's going up. Yeah, look at that little dip right there. That was a nasty dip. They went crazy low. On 420, what the flip? That's weird. On 420, 2020. Was that Elon? Did Elon do that? What the flip? Do you see that? That's crazy if you look at that. That is crazy. Matt, listen, bro. I think there are a lot of companies out there that are undervalued. There are new companies right now that are about to go public. But Beyond Meat took a nasty dive right now. It's actually down 10.16% after hours. That's $9.60. It took a nasty crash. Tomorrow might be a good day to get into Beyond. U.S. sues Uber over alleged discrimination against disabled. I'm selling my shares, boys. Selling my shares. Uber hates the disabled. I can't make those claims. Allegedly. That's actually really big news. That's why Uber's down 4.61%. Washington. The U.S. Justice Department on Wednesday sued Uber Technologies, Inc. over allegations of overcharging people with disabilities, asking a federal court to order the company to comply with disability laws and pay a civil penalty. The department is also asking the court to order Uber to modify its wait time fee policy to comply with Americans with Disability Act, the ADA wins again, and to pay monetary damages to those subjected to illegal wait time fees. Representatives for the company could not be immediately reached for comment. That is insane. Why? How could Uber? Whoa. Wait, what did that say? 4 years. Hold up. Justice Department seeks 4 years prison sentence for the QAnon shaman, calling him the flag bearer. Bro, this guy's about to go down too. All those cunts doing illegal stuff, dude. That ain't cool, dude. That's not cool. Are we back? No, we're still on break, dude. Still on flipping break. Bro, let me be honest. If you're gonna go up into a building, son, and do some idiotic stuff, you deserve to face some time, bro. 54 gifts for the holiday season. Oh, snap, boys. Before we go back, we need to fill gyms. 20 facts. You might not know about Back to the Future. Oh, my God. 20 facts. 20. Bro, what is all this crap? What is this? What is this? What is that? A what? A Canon? Dude, what is that? Is it flipping print photos? Wait. It's an Ivy wireless mini photo printer. Junk. Junk. More junk. I actually kind of want one of those. Bro, there's nothing here I haven't seen yet. Like, I wanna see something I haven't seen. No! I don't care about the hottest makeup trends that are happening in my birth year. I just want to see junk that is that it? Was that 50? Wait, was that 50? Was that literally 50? Did I go past 50? Am I literally going through all this crap? Bro, there's only 8 slides. Where's the rest? Where's the rest? It says 54, and there's only 8. Worst website ever. A smart water bottle, bro? What do we need that for? Horrible guide. Horrible. Awful. That was awful. Whatever this is needs to rot. Awful. Tesla driver killed in fiery car. Whoa. Whoa, when did this happen? Wait. That's not good. Let's learn about this. Fort Lauderdale. Sounds about right. The Tesla driver who died with a passenger in a fiery crash September. Crash near Miami accelerated to 90 miles an hour in the seconds before he lost control and smashed into trees. Federal investigators said in a preliminary report released Wednesday. The National Transportation Safety Board said the 20-year-old driver accelerated his 2021 Model 3 sedan as he crossed a Coral Gables intersection to beat a yellow light on a residential street, his speed tripling the 30-mile-per-hour limit. The driver lost control as he cleared the intersection and veered left onto the median, where the Tesla glanced off one large tree before. There's 2 before. They put before there twice. Typo. Before being smashed. Before smashing its passenger side door in a second. The NTSB said. He never hit the brakes, the report said, citing 5 seconds of data that was recovered from the car's severely damaged event data record. The September 13 crash damaged the Tesla's high-voltage lithium-ion battery, and the car erupted into flames, killing the driver and his 19-year-old female passenger. The NTSB said at the time, it always investigates crashes involving new technology like Tesla, and that it would focus on the operations of the vehicle at the fire. Interesting. Well, it's not a Model Y. Model Y is very safe. They say Model Y is the safest on the road. Interesting. Crypto is crashing. Buy some dip, SJC. Let's buy some yummy dip. Let's see what's crashing. Let's see what's going down. Let's do a search. Where am I? Where am I? Whoa! Wait, what, bro? Who the flip uses Bing? All right, here we go. Let's look at some prices right now. Bitcoin is actually down $64. 312. 64,000. Jeez, bro. $64,312. Ethereum, 4,547. That's not bad. Ethereum 2, which is basically the same thing. Tether, staying the same as always. Stay golden, Tether. Ayo.
We got one in the back.
All right, we're back. We're back. Ripple, $1.20. Let's go. Shiba Inu's down 13.19%. Let's go.
All right, let's get the drink.
Why are they clapping? Look at this boomer. Look at this boomer. This boomer's like, I can't believe I'm here. That's what he's saying. Yeah, everything went down. Here we go, boys.
Front centrally, we're going to watch exhibit number 82. This is a version of the drone footage that was introduced by our expert James Armstrong yesterday. And I'd like to be able to put this TV centrally so everybody can see it. So if you could let us know if you're able to see it when we move it, please. Oh, yeah, I'll turn them up. Are all the jurors able to see that okay? Full sets? Okay. Judge, may I use Sister Marcella? As we play this video... As we play this video, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would... Direct your attention to this location, which is at the front end of the Duramax. There's an individual here on the sidewalk who is who's in a wheelchair, and there's a little bit of a gap there between that individual and the Duramax. And I'd like you to keep your eyes on that location. Before we begin the video, Mr. Rittenhouse, are you able to see this video okay?
Yes.
All right. Please go ahead and play that. please play that again? I'm going to have you pause at a moment right at the beginning. Pause. Now, Mr. Rittenhouse, you told us earlier everything that you did when you first got to this location, correct?
Yes.
What you didn't tell us is that right here on the video, you have your gun raised, don't you?
I can't see it.
You know what? This is a nice 4K TV. I'm going to turn it a little bit towards you. Move it a little bit back so the jury can see. Are you able to see that screen okay?
I don't think all the jurors can see it now.
I want to be able to play it for the defendant to be able to see it up close.
I understand. I'm just thinking if perhaps he could take the chair that the officer is in right now. And do you want to go over there as well?
Would you, would it be easier, Mr. Rittenhouse, if you came and stood a little closer to that screen?
Is that the same definition?
Well, you know, and you're using the pointer, so we want to all be looking at the same TV.
Okay.
Okay.
Would it be appropriate for Mr. Rittenhouse to come
Sure.
stand closer to the TV? Would that
As
be
long
okay?
as long as he doesn't block the jurors, he and Mr. Richards can go over here.
All right,
And,
let's, I'll move this back.
stand way down there if you would, please.
Let's go back to the beginning of the video, please, and I'm going to tell you when to pause.
Don't want to sell it. We can't see.
Well. All right, let's start the video. Pause. Mr. Rittenhouse, you just came into the screen, put the fire extinguisher down, and now you've got your weapon raised, don't you? Let's play it one more time. Pause. Mr. Rittenhouse, can you see in that video that you've raised your weapon and pointed it at someone? Let's play it one more time.
Your Honor, he's answered the question.
He says he can't see, so I'm trying to help him see. Go ahead. Pause. Pause the video.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at this.
It doesn't look like I raised my rifle. It looks like my shoulder's up, but my rifle is pointed downward.
Thank you. All right.
That was loud.
So your testimony today under oath is that you have no memory of raising and pointing your rifle when you first got to that location. Is that right?
Yes.
You see yourself put the fire extinguisher down.
I see myself drop it. Yes.
Let's play Exhibit 84 now, please. Go ahead and play. Pause. In this video at this point, Mr. Rittenhouse, you have turned around and you are pointing your weapon at Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Yes.
And there is a point. Let's continue the video, please.
Wait, what? Oh, he shot him.
All right, let's pause. Go back and start at the beginning again, please. back just a little bit more, please. Why don't you go back to the beginning, hit play, and I'll try and pause you a little bit better. Pause. There's a point where Mr. Rosenbaum is running after you, where he raises his hands and leaps up in the air, correct?
I wouldn't say he leaped in the air. I'd say he continued to run at me. He just threw his hands up.
He threw both of his hands up in the air, right?
Yes.
And you could see that he was unarmed, correct?
Yes.
Please continue the video. Pause. Joseph Rosenbaum never touched you in any way.
He was chasing
during
him.
that
He
incident,
was
correct?
chasing him.
He touched my gun.
He didn't touch your body in any way, did he?
No.
He didn't kick you?
No.
He didn't punch you?
No.
Other than that plastic bag, he didn't throw anything at you?
No.
He didn't have a gun on him?
No.
He didn't have a knife on him?
No.
He didn't have a chain on him?
No.
He didn't have a bat on him?
No.
He didn't have any weapon of any kind, correct?
Other than him grabbing my gun, no.
Well, he didn't have possession of that gun. You did, correct?
He tried to take
I was
possession.
holding it, yes.
And it was strapped to your body, correct?
Yes.
At all times during this incident, you retained possession of your AR-15, correct?
Yes.
Can we please play exhibit, I apologize, Brian, I don't know if I mentioned this one earlier. I think it's 83. It's the full speed version of what we just saw. That was 84 just now, right? Okay, let's play 83, please. Mr. Rittenhouse, while you're watching this video, I'd like you to tell me if you see Mr. Rosenbaum jump up in the air with his hands up, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead and play. All right, pause. Can we go back to the beginning, please? And play again. Pause. Right before Mr. Rosenbaum disappears behind that car, did you see him jump up in the air with his hands out?
No, I saw him do something like this, like,
That was a reaction to you pointing the gun at him, correct?
yes, but he kept running at me, so it didn't deter him.
But it slowed him down a little bit. He does this sort of jump with his hands in the air when you're pointing the gun at him, right?
No, he continues to gain speed on me.
Okay. Now let's play Exhibit 86, please. Go ahead. All right, pause it. Did you slow down?
Did I?
Yeah.
I turned around, and I may have slowed down a little bit.
It looks like you slowed down before you even turned around.
Yes.
You've characterized Mr. Rosenbaum as advancing on you, speeding up towards you, but you actually slowed down, didn't you?
Because of the people around the cars, yes.
But after the shooting, you run around those cars and head back towards the direction you originally wanted to go to, right?
Yes.
So those people didn't stop that, did they?
They weren't there after I shot Mr. Rosenbaum.
They scattered after you fired your gun 4 times, didn't they?
Yes, they weren't there anymore.
And you've heard Dr. Kelly's testimony that the first gunshot from you to Mr. Rosenbaum caused Mr. Rosenbaum to start falling to the ground. Did you hear that testimony?
I did.
And then you continued to fire 3 more shots into him after that, didn't you?
I continued to fire until he was no longer a threat to me.
When he's falling to the ground in front of you, he's no longer a threat to you. His pelvis is broken, right?
I don't know.
But he's fallen to the ground, isn't he?
I saw him lunging towards my gun, and I remember his hand on the barrel of my gun.
Because he was trying to push it out of the way so you wouldn't shoot him.
Sustained.
What was the risk to you of death or great bodily harm at the moment you killed Joseph Rosenbaum?
If I would have let Mr. Rosenbaum take my firearm from me, he would have used it and killed me with it and probably killed more people if I would have let him get my gun.
Mr. Rosenbaum never said anything to you about taking your gun, did he?
He didn't say anything, but he tried to take my gun.
And whoever's got that gun is a threat to everyone else?
If he would have taken my gun, he would have used it against me.
Let's break that down. First of all, you had already prevented him from taking your gun by running away and doing that little dip and dodge that Mr. McGinnis talked about, right?
He was still coming after my gun.
But you could have kept running. You could
No,
have turned back around like you did.
He was tired. What do you mean? Don't.
You have the gun strapped to your body at this moment, correct?
Yes.
The strap is designed to keep that on your body so it doesn't come off, correct?
To help retain it, yes.
And you have both hands on the gun, correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Rosenbaum has never said anything at all about wanting your gun. You never heard him say anything about that, correct?
I haven't.
You never said anything, he never said anything to you about using that gun at all, correct?
I don't know what Mr. Rosenbaum was thinking when he tried to grab my gun.
You just assumed that he was going to use it, that he was going to try and take it from you, first of all, and then you assumed he was going to try and use it on you.
If I would have let Mr. Rosenbaum get my gun, he would have killed me.
But you had already pointed your gun at him.
Yes, because he was chasing me.
Did you want him to think that you were going to shoot him?
No, I never wanted to shoot Mr. Rosenbaum.
Why'd you point it at him if you didn't have any intention of shooting?
He was chasing me. I was alone. He threatened to kill me earlier in that night. I didn't want to have to shoot him.
But you understand how dangerous it is to point a gun at someone, don't you?
I pointed at him because he kept running at me, and I didn't want him to chase me.
But you understand how dangerous that is, don't you?
I pointed at him because he was chasing me.
I'll ask the question a third time, Mr. Rittenhouse. You understand.
Don't comment. Just ask your question.
You understand how dangerous it is to point a gun at someone, correct?
Yes.
You understand that that puts someone else in fear that they're about to be killed, right?
He was chasing me.
You understand that when you point your AR-15 at someone else, that may make them feel like they are about to be killed by you, correct?
Mr. Rosenbaum was chasing me. He said he was going to kill me if he got me alone. I was alone. I was running from him. I pointed at him, and it didn't stop him from continuing to chase me.
Did you hear my question?
Yes.
Yet you chose not to answer it.
Objection, Your Honor. He answered. He just didn't like the answer.
My question is, you understand that when you point your AR-15 at someone, it may make them feel like you're going to kill them, correct?
He asked if it would affect someone that way so as to perhaps deter the person.
Do you understand my question?
I do.
Can you please answer it?
I did. I said, Mr. Rosenbaum was chasing me. I pointed my gun at him, and that did not deter him. He could have ran away instead of trying to take my gun from me. But he kept chasing me. It didn't stop him.
Mr. Rittenhouse, you're telling us that you felt like you were about to die, right?
Yes.
But when you point the gun at someone else, that's going to make them feel like they're about to die, right? That's what you wanted him to feel.
No.
You wanted him to get the message from you that if you come any closer, I'm going to kill you. That's why you pointed the gun at him, right?
I pointed the gun at him to deter him from... I pointed the gun at him so he would stop chasing me. That's why I pointed the gun at him.
Because if you point the gun at him, you were hoping he would stop chasing you because he would get the message from you that if he keeps coming, you're going to kill him, right?
I didn't want to have to kill Mr. Rosenbaum.
That's not the question I asked.
It seems argumentative, Mr. He said it serves no useful purpose, it's badgering. It does seem argumentative.
What's Linda doing there? Oh,
You intended, in that sequence we just saw, you intended to point your gun back at Mr. Rosenbaum in the middle of the parking lot, right?
I pointed it at him so he would stop chasing me, but he didn't stop.
That was your intentional decision to point at him. That wasn't an accident.
I'm going to interrupt here. The jury cannot see you.
I thought we'd moved it. I'm sorry.
No, so please get it out of there.
The point I'm trying to get at, Mr. Rittenhouse, is that wasn't like an accidental turning around and it just happens to be pointing in his direction, much like I'm just happen to, wave this around. You made an intentional decision in the middle of that incident to turn and point the gun at Mr. Rosenbaum, correct?
Yes.
And you can understand why that would make someone fearful for their life, right?
But he continued to chase me after, so no, I can't.
It didn't work.
It didn't stop Mr. Rosenbaum from chasing me.
And even after you shoot him one time and he starts falling, you continue to shoot 3 more times, right?
I continued to shoot until he was no longer a threat to me.
And then after that, you run around and he's lying there, face down on the ground, correct?
Yes.
And you're a medic, correct?
I have first aid training, yes.
Well, you proclaimed yourself that night to be a medic, an EMT. You told everyone that, right?
Yes.
And you had your medic bag with you, correct?
Yes.
And this location is right across the street from a hospital, isn't it?
Yes.
But your first thought was run away.
My first thought was to help him.
You didn't do anything to help him. You didn't do a single thing, did you?
The crowd started to scream, "Get him, get him, get him," and I didn't want to stay there with the crowd building and the mob advancing on me.
Were you surprised that a crowd would react that way when they just saw you shoot someone?
I don't know.
When you stood over Mr. Rosenbaum's body, did you know?
I'm Go ahead.
When you stood over Mr. Rosenbaum's body, did you know whether he was dead or alive?
I didn't.
Did you know whether or not it was possible at that moment to try and save him?
I wanted to help Mr. Rosenbaum, and if the crowd wouldn't have started screaming to get him, get him, get him, I would have stayed and did everything I could to help Mr. Rosenbaum, but the crowd just started to chase me and scream at me.
Let's play, can we have exhibit 14, please? At the 3 hour, 58 minute, and 45 second mark. Okay, play from here, please.
And blindside. So the orders you hear about yelling no cameras, it was white boys. I guarantee you, man. Hey, we got a gun, baby. Oh, they shot. Oh, they shot him.
Pause. After you fired your 4 shots at Mr. Rosenbaum, there were 3 more gunshots right after that.
Wait, was that
right?
was that Reg?
And those were coming from
Was that the homie Reg?
very close to where you were.
Holy crap!
They were coming from right here on the south side of the 63rd Street car store.
Reg is famous.
63rd Street on the north
The
side.
whole world saw Reg.
Right?
Yes.
You didn't react at all to those gunshots, did you?
That time my audio was still going in and out partially.
But again, my question is, you didn't react at all to those, did you?
Not that I can see.
Let's continue, please.
Shot him, man. Shot him. Shot him, man. He laid him out. He laid him out. Laid him out.
Bruh.
Pause.
What the fuck?
No one in that crowd yells, "Get him," or anything threatening towards you until after you start running away, right?
No.
You had time in that moment to make a phone call, didn't you?
I called Dominic Black, yes.
You could have called 911, right?
Yes.
But you chose to call your best friend, right?
I called the first number of my phone.
Is that quicker than 3 digits, 911?
I don't know.
And then you started running.
Yes.
And the first person you encounter as you're running is Jason Lakowski, correct?
Yes.
This is a person that you had barely known for 15 minutes that night, right?
Yes.
And you told him you didn't shoot anyone, correct?
No.
You heard his testimony about that, right?
Yes.
Can we please play exhibit number 12?
Bro, Reg's really out there,
While we're
though.
getting that ready. You talked earlier about this crowd and what they were saying, and you felt like they were coming after you. You had time to stop and have a brief little talk with Jason Lakowski, didn't you?
I stopped for a second and asked him to help me get to the police.
Even with this crowd on top of you, as you describe it, you still had time for that, didn't you?
For a second. I stopped for a second.
Let's play exhibit number 12, please.
shots. You know.
Crazy.
Back up 10 seconds, please. Go ahead. Pause. There are people in the crowd that are asking you why you just shot someone, right?
Yes.
And you told him he had a gun.
At the time, I was a little dazed, and I was thinking of Mr. Zeminski with the pistol he had at the Duramax.
So you shot Mr. Rosenbaum because Joshua Zeminski had a pistol?
No.
You don't get to shoot someone else. You don't get to shoot someone else because someone else has
No.
a gun, right?
No.
But you told the crowd he had a gun, didn't you?
That's what I said.
And that wasn't true. Mr. Rosenbaum never had a gun, right?
He didn't have a gun.
Now can we please play exhibit number 3 at the 1 hour, 17 minute, and 10 second mark?
We're waiting. Kyle, hurry up. I'm kidding.
One moment, please. This is an excerpt from the Gage Grosskreutz Facebook live stream that night.
Hey, what are you doing? You shot somebody? Who shot?
Pause. You told Mr. Grosskreutz you were going to the police, right?
Yes.
And then you said, I didn't shoot anyone, right?
I can't really make out what the last part of the words were saying.
Do you remember what you said?
I remember saying, I think I said I had to.
Let's play that back 10 seconds and play it again, please.
Hey, what are you doing? You shot somebody? Who shot? Who shot?
Pause. Pause. Aren't your exact words, I'm going to the police, I did not shoot anyone?
That's what I remember from that night, but watching that, it sounds like I said I didn't.
That, again, was not true. You just had shot someone, correct?
I did.
Why didn't you tell the truth?
I was being chased by a mop, and I don't really remember that interaction very well.
Let's play Exhibit 5, please. This is the BG on the scene video. Go ahead. Pause. Now, we've heard a lot of testimony about this person who comes up behind you with something and hits you in the head. We've heard about Anthony Huber's first approach to you with his skateboard, correct?
Yes.
You testified that after a few more feet, you felt lightheaded and you stumbled. That's what you told when your attorney was asking you questions, correct?
Yes.
No one knocked you to the ground. You lost your own balance, correct?
I was hit to the point to where I stumbled.
You said in response to your attorney's questions that you stumbled because you were lightheaded. Do you remember telling us that?
From getting hit, yes.
You were lightheaded because you had been running and you were being chased. That was why you were lightheaded, right?
That and being hit, yes.
Let's continue. Pause. There is an individual who comes at you and jumps towards you and attempts to kick you, correct?
He does kick me, yes.
And you fire 2 shots directly at him with your AR-15, correct?
Yes.
You intended to hit him with those bullets, correct?
I intended for him. Yes.
At that close range, it's a miracle that you missed, right?
I don't know.
You intended to kill him with those shots, didn't you?
No.
Did you even care whether or not those 2 rounds were going to kill him?
I didn't want to have to kill anybody that night.
In this moment, you're making a deliberate decision to pull the trigger twice, correct?
Yes.
That wasn't an accident. That was your conscious decision, wasn't it?
Yes.
And you're firing an AR-15 at close range to this individual, correct?
Yes.
And you knew full well that if you hit him with one or both of those bullets, it could kill him, right?
There's that possibility.
If you hit him with one of those, wouldn't you agree it's a pretty strong likelihood you're going to kill him?
I don't know if...
Did that even factor into your mind at that point? Did you even care whether you were going to kill him or not?
I didn't want to have to kill anybody. I was being attacked. That's why I shot him. But shot at him.
You shot at him with the intent of hitting him and killing him, correct?
I didn't want to kill anybody.
Then why are you shooting at someone with an AR-15 at close range if you don't want to kill him?
Because he's attacking me. And he's stomping my face in. Jumping and kicking my face in.
You didn't see any weapons on that person, did you?
No.
You didn't see a gun?
No.
You didn't see a knife?
No.
You didn't see a bat or a club?
No.
You didn't see a chain?
No.
All he uses is 1 foot, correct?
Yes.
Let's continue the video. Pause. You've just shot a round into Anthony Huber's chest, right?
Yes.
Now, up until this moment, and probably for the rest of that evening, you didn't know the name Anthony Huber, did you?
I did not.
Up until this moment in this evening, you had never had any interaction with him, took any notice of him, fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And when you shoot him, he's got his skateboard in his hand?
Yes.
You didn't see any gun in his hand, correct?
No.
You didn't see a knife?
No.
You didn't see a bat?
No.
You didn't see a club?
No.
All he's got is the skateboard, right?
That he's hit me in the head with twice, yes.
Okay. And you intended to pull the trigger at that moment with your AR-15, correct?
Yes.
That wasn't an accident.
No.
That was your deliberate decision, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that the way that gun was positioned, you were going to fire that bullet right into his chest, right?
He was attacking me, so I pulled the trigger.
And you knew that when you pulled that trigger, that bullet was going to go right into his chest, didn't you?
I can't say, I don't know where the bullet would have went exactly.
The end of that gun was pointed directly at his chest when you pulled the trigger, correct?
Yes.
And you knew that, correct?
Yes.
And you still pulled the trigger, didn't you?
Yes.
Because you intended to kill Anthony Huber at that moment, didn't you?
No.
What did you think was going to happen then? You got a gun that's aimed directly at his chest. You pull the trigger. What did you think was going to happen?
If I didn't pull the trigger, I thought Mr. Huber was going to kill me.
Maybe I misphrased my question. Let me try again. When you pull the trigger of the AR-15 and it is directly against Anthony Huber's chest, what did you think was going to happen to Anthony Huber?
That he would no longer be a threat to my safety.
Because he'd be dead, right?
Because he wouldn't be a threat to me. I don't know if he'd be dead or not.
We don't know.
Did you even care at that moment
We don't
whether or
know.
not Anthony Huber lived and died?
Yes.
Your only concern in that moment was your own safety, correct?
Yes.
We don't know if
The
it would have
next
killed him.
shooting is of Gage Grosskreutz. We have stopped the video at a moment here when he is crouched in front of you with his hands in the air, correct?
Yes.
Your gun is pointed at him, isn't it?
It's pointed downward towards his feet.
It's pointed at his body, some part of his body, correct?
Yes.
And he's no threat to you at this moment, is he?
Objection, Your Honor. He's standing in front of him with a gun.
That's an argument you can make. I'm asking a question of the witness.
Yes.
He's no threat to you at this moment, is he?
He is a threat. He has a gun in his hand.
You saw that gun.
Yes.
So at the moment, throughout all of these moments of your interaction with Mr. Grosskreutz, you were aware of the fact that he had that gun in his hand, correct?
Not until that moment.
I'm talking about from this moment on, correct?
Yes.
And of course, that's a handgun, right?
Yes.
And you have an AR-15, correct?
Yes.
And at this particular moment, he's not pointing his gun at you, is he?
Not at that moment.
But you've got your gun pointed at him, correct?
Looking at the video, I think I'm lowering my weapon. I think it's just a still shot of where you have it to where that, but I believe in the whole video I'm lowering it, and then he points his gun at me.
Can you help me understand, Mr. Rittenhouse, why Gage Grosskreutz, with a pistol in his hand, is a threat to kill you, but you, with an AR-15 pointed at him, is not a threat to kill him at this moment? Can you help me understand that?
I've been attacked by several people, and he decided to come and point a gun at my head. Well, first,
He hasn't done that yet, has he?
no.
So again, I ask you, in this moment, you told us Gage Grosskreutz is a threat to you right now.
Yes.
He's got a pistol not aimed at you. You've got an AR-15 aimed at him. Why is he more of a threat to you than you are to him?
Because he was moving at me with a gun in his hand.
This is right after you've killed Anthony Huber, correct?
Yes.
Right after you fired 2 shots at almost point-blank range at the man running towards the camera right now and missing him, correct?
Yes.
And you're telling us Gage Grosskreutz is the real threat at this moment?
Yes.
Can we please pull up exhibit number 80, beginning at frame 468? This is an exhibit which consists of, what's the number, 732? 729 frames from the BG on the Go video that we just watched. This was prepared by James Armstrong of the State Crime Lab. I'm not going to show all 729, but I'd like to start at frame 468, and we're going to go frame by frame from there until frame 500. Mr. Stuke, could you please slowly advance frame by frame until I tell you to stop? Mr. Rittenhouse, this is immediately after Gage Grosskreutz has stopped in front of you and you are doing something with your firearm at that moment. Do you recall that?
Yes.
You were asked some questions about what you were doing at that moment. Is it fair to say that you turn your firearm over and you're looking at it, you're examining it?
Yes.
But your testimony is you didn't do anything to actually manipulate it at that moment.
Correct.
Is that fair to say?
Correct.
Okay. Please continue. Frame 500 shows you firing your AR-15 towards Gage Grosskreutz. At this particular moment, he does not have that pistol pointed towards you, does he?
He does.
His left leg has stepped across not directly towards you, but to the side of you, correct?
Yes.
He's reaching in with his left arm towards you, correct?
Yes.
He never steps back and puts the gun in both hands in a ready aim position towards you, does he?
He doesn't do that.
He never takes that gun with his right hand and stands there and holds it out with his right hand in front of him and aims it directly at you, does he?
No, he does this pointing it directly at my head.
And you thought that's the way he was going to shoot you?
Yeah.
You thought he ran up close to you to shoot you?
Yes.
You understand that he could have taken that gun if he wanted to and shot you from 10, 15, 20 feet away, right?
Can you rephrase? Sorry, I'm trying to understand the question.
You understand that a pistol like that doesn't need to be right up close to someone to shoot, right?
Yes.
It can shoot from 10, 15, 20 feet away, right?
Yes.
Mr. Grosskreutz could have stopped 10, 15, 20 feet away if he wanted to shoot you and fired his pistol at you, couldn't he have?
He could have, but he didn't.
And your testimony is that you believed he ran up close to you and reached in with his left hand with his gun in his right hand because that was his way of using this gun to shoot you?
Yes.
Did you think he was reaching in to grab your gun?
No.
You didn't think he was going to take your gun away, did you?
I thought he was going to shoot me.
With his pistol,
Yes.
which he never actually does. Correct?
Correct.
He never fires that gun at you at all.
No.
In fact, in this entire sequence of events, no one ever fired a gun at you, did they?
Mr. Zeminski fired a gun from behind me.
Did Mr. Zeminski fire that gun at you?
I believe so.
What do you base that on? Did you see it?
The video.
Did you see it?
No.
You're talking about back when the incident with Mr. Rosenbaum happens, correct?
Yes.
That happened while you and Mr. Rosenbaum are running across the car source lot, correct?
Yes.
At that moment in time, you didn't see Joshua Zeminski fire a shot, did you?
No.
You heard a gunshot, right?
Yes.
But you had no idea who fired it.
I believed it was Mr. Zeminski.
So that gunshot did not at all factor into your decision to kill Joseph Rosenbaum, did it?
No, Mr. Rosenbaum trying to steal my gun did.
So you didn't think that was a gunshot from Joseph Rosenbaum?
No.
You knew he didn't have a gun?
Wait a minute. Oh, I see what your question means now. Okay. You didn't think that the shot which had been fired supposedly by Mr. Zeminski had been fired by Mr. Rosenbaum?
Exactly.
Okay, okay.
So you heard a gunshot. You now know that was Joshua Zeminski based on watching the videos, right?
Yes.
But at the time, you didn't think that was Joseph Rosenbaum firing that shot, did you?
No.
You knew Joseph Rosenbaum didn't have a gun, right?
Yes.
And you certainly would agree with me that you don't have the right to kill Joseph Rosenbaum for something Joshua Zeminski does, correct?
Yes.
When you heard that gunshot, you didn't know whether it was fired at you or up in the air or at Rosenbaum or anyone else, did you?
I heard it from behind me, but I didn't.
You didn't know where it was aimed,
Correct.
correct? You didn't feel it hit you, correct?
Correct.
You didn't hear it ricochet anywhere near you, correct?
Correct.
You received no indication that that gunshot was going to put your life in danger, correct?
I don't know.
There were gunshots going off all night long, weren't there?
Sorta.
Firecrackers,
Fireworks.
gunshots.
Yeah.
Hard to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Right after you kill Rosenbaum, there's 3 shots right after that, aren't there?
Yes.
From very close to where you were.
Yes.
Yet you don't turn and shoot anybody there after you hear those, did you?
No.
So, getting back to my original question. In this entire sequence of events, no one ever fired a shot at you, did they?
No.
After you kill Anthony Huber, shoot Gage Grosskreutz, and attempt to fire those 2 shots at the person who jumped at you, you got up and you walked away, didn't you?
Yes.
And you're about, what, a block away from the police line?
Yes.
And you know that police line's there because you're running towards it.
Yes.
And there's really nothing in the road between you and that police line, is there? After the shooting? Everybody
No.
scatters?
No, nothing in the road.
So you have a clear line of sight from where you did those shootings to those law enforcement vehicles, correct?
Yes.
And you still have your AR-15,
Yes.
and the crowd is pretty much run after they hear the shots, right?
Yes.
You still have your medic bag,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
You never once offer to help anybody that you just shot, correct?
I don't.
Correct, you don't?
Correct.
Anthony Huber is lying there over on the ground after you shot him once in the chest, correct?
Yes.
You didn't know at that point whether he was alive or dead, did you?
I didn't.
You never went over to check, did you?
No.
You didn't know whether it was possible to save his life at that moment or not, did you?
I didn't.
And you didn't even care. You just kept on walking. Correct?
I kept walking to get to the police line.
Gage Grosskreutz, right after you shoot him in the arm, is yelling, "I need a medic." Did you hear that?
Yes.
That's in the videos, isn't it?
Yes.
You don't do anything to help him, do you?
No.
You just decide to get out of there as fast as you can. Correct?
Yes.
If you had seen someone running up the street with a gun and the crowd was saying that that person just shot someone, like they were saying about you, you would have taken action to stop them yourself, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't have.
You're running around putting out fires, aren't you?
Yes.
A shooting's far more serious than a fire, isn't it?
Yes.
You took it upon yourself to do the things that the police and the fire departments weren't doing that night, correct?
I helped put out fires, but I wouldn't say that.
You went around offering medical service because you didn't think there were EMTs or EMS that would be able to come in there, correct?
Yes.
So you took it upon yourself to do the things that you didn't think the police or fire could do, correct?
I wouldn't say I took it upon myself, but I was helping people with first aid and putting out fires at businesses.
So if you saw someone running with a gun and everybody said, that guy just shot someone, you would have taken your AR-15 and tried to stop him, wouldn't you?
What's the relevance of this, Mr. Mayor?
It goes to the crowd's reaction to him, Your Honor. I think you would have reacted the same way.
Mr. Rittenhouse is on trial. The crowd is important in terms of it's a factor that bears on some of the counts as to what the surroundings were. Otherwise, the crowd is unimportant, and what he might have done vis-a-vis the crowd is, I don't see where we're going.
Understood. When you got back to that police line, and what'd you say, they pepper sprayed you?
I believe so, but I don't remember it.
They told you to get out of the road
Yes.
because they were going in there to
Yes.
do what you hadn't done, which is to try and help the people that you just shot, right?
Yes.
And then you went back after that to the 59th Street car source, didn't you?
Yes.
And you told them that you just shot someone.
Yes.
Someone, meaning an individual person, correct?
I wasn't meaning individual. I was saying I just shot someone. I just shot someone.
You were told by Nick Smith that the police were coming to your location, to the 59th Street car source, right?
I don't recall that.
And yet, you decided to flee, didn't you?
No.
You didn't stick around for the police, did you?
I went to go turn myself into the Antioch Police Department
A couple of hours later.
an hour.
Actually, it wasn't a couple hours. He knows what time it was.
I'm asking the witness if the witness can answer.
Go ahead, you can answer, sir.
It was a couple of hours later, wasn't it?
No.
And in between leaving that location in downtown Kenosha and getting to Antioch, you were looking at social media, weren't you?
No, I wasn't. My phone was dead.
You had heard from other people that your name was out there, right?
Later on in the evening, I believe I heard something, but no.
You knew that your picture was out there, right?
No.
You're telling me, as you sit here under oath, that after those shootings, between then and the time you turned yourself into the Antioch Police Department, you had no idea that there was social media out there with your picture and your name as the shooter?
I'm trying to recall, but I can't. I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, I don't remember.
I have no further questions.
You're right.
Nothing on that, Your Honor.
You may step down, sir.
Damn.
Your Honor,
I mean, damn.
but before that call, that witness, I need to use the men's room.
About a 5 to 10 minute break. Please don't talk about the case during the break. You may either use the jury room or you may remain down here in the library.
I mean, damn. What does everyone think? We're going to talk about Astral World later. We're going to jump down that rabbit hole later. I would like to do a, sorry, I'm chewing on gummies. I would like to do some collective research together. I want to talk about Astral World. Because there's a lot of conspiracies that are coming out that have been deleted by TikTok. And we're going to get into that one. I don't know if Google will have anything with any objections with what I have to say. Astral World was the event hosted by the hip-hop artist known as Travis Scott, who is mostly known for doing a bunch of hip-hop music. He had his own burger at McDonald's, so on and so forth. So a lot of people on TikTok, I want to go down that rabbit hole, but a lot of these TikToks, I want to find these TikToks that were deleted by TikTok. And what a lot of conspiracists are saying, that it was a large sacrifice ceremony. He knew that was going to happen. Too many people in a small area at one time pushing. He didn't try to stop it. We were watching another rapper who was talking about people passing out. I mean, someone passes out, bro, they could get trampled. They could literally get trampled and stepped on and die. That can happen. That can 100% happen. A conspiracy. I'm not saying that the conspiracy is right. I like to take in information, take it with a nice grain of salt, and then decide for myself whether I think if it's legitimate or not. Because it's not always going to be what you think it's going to be. I'm just saying I want to go down the rabbit hole. I want to see the evidence that people have gathered, because they're saying there are a lot of images and statues that were built. So they built Travis Scott as a statue, as an idol, and you're not supposed to worship idols, statues. That's one thing, and it was also depicted in the Bible as some type of demon where it's swallowing people, and that's why he's like eating people in the thing. They had a big statue of his head where you walk through it. It's like symbolic. His manager is in control of a lot of it. His manager controls the majority. That's the person who it comes down to be completely honest. The person who was managing the whole thing. That's who's going to get in trouble. They let too many people in. They did not have it secure enough. People did break in. There was a breach. People did break in. These conspiracy theories are ridiculous. There are artists who do claim demonic things and rituals and whatnot. We don't know. Because I don't know. There's all sorts of things people say and have quote unquote uncovered. I don't think a lot of it is all that true. I think a lot of it's completely people who are going off their imagination, to be completely honest. I do not think I would ever let him manage me. I don't think I would let him manage me. My current manager, I pay my manager monthly. It's a firm. They take their fee, and if I make over a certain amount, then they take 20% cut. And hey, I'm fine with that. That's them getting me work, and I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that are bestowed upon me. You were talking to the foster can. How does that happen? Exactly. What would he do for me? What exactly would he do for me? Your manager needs to get you the awareness you deserve. I agree. I completely agree. This manager is mainly for television, film, and commercial. But they're not focused on getting me prime roles. See, the one whoever a viewer was harassing my agent. I don't know why they were harassing my commercial agent, but that lady is a nice lady. And I'm just blessed that anybody in this town, oh, wow. Amazing. Amazing. They just threw that up. Great. That's amazing. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna just throw up. Are you okay? When opportunities come a knocking. Can he get life? It depends. It depends on the jury. It can go either way. I didn't put this up. That's their side. That's the side I'm getting this stream from, actually. I don't know why they decided to post this up, but ayo. Bro. Whoa, wait, how do I... Bro, how do I... Whoa. Oh, this should be better. This should be better. Hey-o. He has a huge GoFundMe. Hey, I mean, you got the big GoFundMe. Figure it out, little bruises. I mean, there's nothing, bruh. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Because I'm watching. Oh, here we go.
That's right, run.
Kyle Rittenhouse broke down telling jurors about the moment he opened fire the night of August 25th during the unrest in Kenosha. After a brief break, he composed himself.
And Mr. Rosenbaum was right there at the corner of the Duramax,
Bro.
Starting to chase me.
Rittenhouse said while helping to protect a used car lot, Joseph Rosenbaum ambushed him.
As you see him lunging at you, what do?
I shoot him.
Rosenbaum would later die. Rittenhouse says he then took off down Sheridan Road.
People were screaming, and I just was trying to get to the police running down Sheridan Road.
And you say, I'm trying to get to the police. Why were you trying to get to the police?
So I didn't do anything wrong. I defended myself.
Rittenhouse told jurors that's when Anthony Hubert knocked him to the ground.
As I'm getting up, he strikes me in the neck with his skateboard a second time.
Then what happened?
he grabs my gun, and I can feel it pulling away from me, and I can feel the strap starting to come off my body.
And what do you do then?
I fire one shot.
Huber also died. Rittenhouse then said Gage Grosskreutz pointed a gun at him.
His arm is like that with me on the ground, and his pistol is pointed at me, and that's when I shoot him.
Prosecutor Thomas Binger immediately challenged the teen's motive during cross-examination.
You felt that night that calling 911 was not an option, correct?
Wait, are you kidding me? No! Don't do this to me. We're trying to watch.
Prosecutor Thomas Binger immediately challenged the teen's motive during cross-examination.
You felt that night that calling 911 was not an option, correct?
How long will this take?
Here we go.
Shame on me, it's 20 to 5.
It's been a long day too. I don't know if you
Yeah.
knew that.
But he's come here from Oregon and you want to get him in.
Well, no, you're available tomorrow, first thing.
Okay. I don't want to start with that.
I mean, if I thought you could get your direct in 20 minutes,
Absolutely not.
then why don't we wait till tomorrow? Well, I shouldn't say that. Tell me what is expected course of the case after that, because maybe I would let you if it.
Interesting. I mean, that's a lot to live with, to kill someone, I think. After making that choice and then actually thinking about it at that age.
Raise your right hand.
That's what we have under subpoena. Well, Mr. Black isn't under subpoena. We have Drew Hernandez and Bray to clear up the racking the spent shell casings and what evidence was recovered from each
I
accident.
don't want to. I thought Officer Van Wee testified to emptying the gun at the hospital.
At the crime scene, number 2, event
Right.
number 2, the state is saying that my client, Gage
I know what's
Grosskreutz,
being
re-racked
said.
the gun. If there
Yeah,
was a
I understand that, and I thought that Officer Van Wee said that there was a full except for 8 shots, 8 bullets.
But there was no, the word I'm looking for, live round found at event number 2. So if there was a re-racking of that bolt, there would have been a live round. And there
See,
were-
I counted and I came up with a full load, even without any bullet being found.
Maybe I'm just, and additionally, that Mr. Grosskreutz said he didn't know whether or not his gun had one in the chamber. Lukowski testified to it, and in fact, there is a live round right on the ground.
Well, this is what your third. Okay, well, let's deal with the realities of it. Unless you gentlemen are prepared to tell me that you're going to send me your proposed instructions on within by 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, and unless you're going to tell me that you're going to argue for less than an hour and a half each, then we're going to end up either working Saturday or working on Monday. So let's take a vote here, because the jury did clear Tuesday, and of course, I think I read once that Abraham Lincoln, when he took a vote on the Emancipation Proclamation, all the votes were no. And then he said, but the deciding vote is aye. And so I'm going to take a vote about what you folks want to do, but that doesn't mean it's going to come out the way you want. So, who wants to work Saturday?
I'll work Saturday, I'll work Monday, I'll do whatever the court asks me.
Who wants to come back on Monday? Okay, so it's 1 to they don't care, to I'm going to vote with you on Monday. So, okay, so I know. Is it okay if I tell the jury we are hopeful that we will conclude the case on Monday?
Bro.
I understand that. Is there going to be extensive rebuttal?
I don't think it's going to be extensive, but
Yeah.
we do reserve the right to
Sure,
follow up. Yes.
I understood. Well, maybe I'll tell them I expect that we'll finish in the time which was given to us, which was included Tuesday. And we'll see what happens. All right. Anything else before I call the jury down? Oh, and then I'm going to dismiss them for the day. And we'll start in the morning with Dr. Black. Anything else?
Do you want the instructions by 7? Is that what you would?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So email.
But if you, are you telling me that would be,
No, I'm telling you that I'll do whatever you want.
if you want by 8?
Okay. And we're talking just about the count 6, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? I'll send you my preliminary. No, I won't do that. I'll send you my preliminary tonight, as long as we're not going to argument until next week. I'm not even going to promise that. Let's just... Cool. All right. Let's call the jury down, dismiss them for the day. You don't have to send me anything tonight, and I won't send you anything. Oh.
Bro, this judge acts like he's just like, yo, we're just kicking back. I gotta go play some golf this week. We gotta figure this out later. Wait, what? Yes, it does seem like the defense is, but that's like a lawyer's job. Lawyer's job is to try and shice you into saying something or trying to catch you. But it seems like he might serve some time. He's not totally gonna get off. I think he might serve some time.
All right, folks. How many are in favor of my continuing to allow that light to flicker through the remainder of the trial? Why don't we get maintenance in here and hopefully they can fix it.
Bro.
And
Bro.
we're gonna stop for the day, and we're going to come tomorrow morning at 9. And I have just discussed the matter with the lawyers, and I'm very confident that we will finish by Tuesday, as I asked you about a couple weeks ago. And there's a bare chance, I don't want to get your hopes up, but there's a chance we could finish on Monday. And that's the best of my information, and it isn't a promise, but I think that's very realistic. So, in the meantime, please don't read, watch, or listen to any account of the trial, or discuss the case with anyone, including members of your immediate household. And any questions? See you tomorrow.
We have to go upstairs, George.
Yeah. Please, and Mrs. Mataska Montenko or her designee will talk to you.
That was damn, bro. It was an interesting court session we just sat through. It was a very interesting session. From what I know of the case, So I understand if you're under the age of 21, I think it's 18. Well, it depends on the state. It really depends on the state, because I know at I think it's 16. Don't quote me on this. I know at a certain age you're allowed to have a rifle, but not a handgun. You're allowed to have a handgun at 21. And certain weapons at 21. Don't quote me on this. Because each state is different. Florida is different than California. I mean, much different. So it depends on the state he was in. And it also depends on the state he was going to. That's what a lot of this is depending on. Where he was and where he was going. It was 18. He's 17. He's probably screwed them, bud. He is probably screwed. I'm gonna have to go for a minute. We could discuss this for a little bit, but I'm gonna have to go. We'll probably do a stream later. We'll probably go IRL. I do want to get into this whole Travis Scott thing. It's just quite bizarre. The whole chain of events that happened. That was weird. I mean, he kept saying like they're trying, like it just had so much mixture into it. I really do not have a clue on this one. I feel like he did bring his weapon out to defend himself, but he just was. I don't feel like he used discretion. So I do think if the one person who ran at him when he first fired would have grabbed the weapon and possibly used it on him, possibly. We don't know what they would have done. We don't know their motive. They probably would have used it on him and said that he had a weapon and pointed at me, and that's the argument they would have used. Even though he was antagonized. Even still, he should. It's a tough one. It's a very tough one. It doesn't matter if something's strapped to your body. You can still disarm somebody. You can still disarm someone if something is strapped to you. It wasn't physically strapped, like duck wrapped to him. It's just a sling. That sling can be taken from you and lifted over your head very easily. Very easily. If Kyle would have lost control of his weapon because somebody, we don't know. He did fire the shot. He did what the weapon was designed to do. It was designed, he felt like he was threatened, and he stopped the attacker. Can't shoot someone over possibility. We don't know the person's intention. We don't know. It is a lot of ifs. He shouldn't have been there with a gun to begin with. He probably shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been there. Let's agree that he shouldn't have been there. If he were to have just stayed home, he would not have been in this situation at all. Those people would not be dead. Well, the big weapon. See, here's the thing. He had a very big weapon, and that brings a lot of awareness that you have a weapon. You have a weapon. You're carrying it. It's in your arms. I understand perspective of other people, because not everybody knows about guns. I've met people who are like, "Oh my gosh, you shot a gun. I could never shoot a gun," and they're just like, you know, they're like scared. So not everybody thinks of weapons as someone like me or you who may or may not have been trained. I was trained by my parents when I was very young, from very young age, about weapons and how permanent weapons can be. We're talking about the results of having a weapon and you permanently changing your life, someone's life, a family, group of people's lives. That's why there's that discretion. You have to use discretion when you're a gun owner, especially when you're open carrying. Especially when you're open carrying with a lot of people around you. You have to make very, very good, very well judgment. We don't know. In that state, what is the law? Is a 17-year-old allowed to carry a rifle? Because from my understanding, some builds of the AR-15 make it so it's considered a rifle and you're able to carry it. Was it illegal? Yeah, he didn't need to shoot anyone. We can agree on that. I don't know if he had mace on him. No one should have been harmed in any of this. Self-defense is real, but it's subjective. A gun owner is not going to go out with flipping mace and mace people. We both know this. A gun owner is... What? Right. What the flip is this? I mean, he probably shouldn't have been out there though with the gun. You should use the buddy system. I mean, yeah. He should have been out there with friends. He shouldn't have been there alone. I'm sorry, I was reading something about the case because I wanted to gain more information. I mean, I don't know. You don't. I mean, I go out by myself sometimes, and I have to have discretion because it's just my safety. I have to worry about my safety first and foremost. Yo, my acid reflux. Yeah, no one wanted to hear me burp, bro. I think he just shouldn't have been there. Yo, I gotta go. I'll be back. I'll see you guys later. I love and appreciate you. Thank you for joining me. We're gonna continue this Monday. We're gonna continue this case Monday with we're gonna follow it as it goes along. My name is SJC. In case you don't know, I love and appreciate you. We will. I'll be back later. I'll be back later tonight, probably. Later, guys.